I'm 21 weeks pregnant and haven't felt the baby move.
They used to call that moment when you first felt the baby move the quickening.
That normally happened between weeks 16 and 20, and I'm week 21.
If you're off on the conception date, it isn't too late to be in the right time period.
I know when I conceived.
The baby at this point is about the size of the banana.
It only feels like I'm carrying a watermelon.
Before this point, if you felt the baby move, it was more likely to be a soft flutter of the baby waving its arms or feet creating amniotic fluid sloshing, not a clear jab or kick.
I don't get it.
You may have felt an inner flutter of amniotic fluid moving along with the baby, but you didn't know what it was.
I've heard of people saying they felt the baby moving at the 3rd or 4th month and then let out a major fart. In that case, they mistook gas for fetal movement.
Some women feel twinges and it turns out to be indigestion, too.
I know what indigestion feels like, given how often we eat with my in-laws.
Another reason you might not have felt the baby move is that the minor twinges of muscle strains and tendon stretching, mistaking your body's changes for the baby's movement.
I think I'd know the difference between a muscle sprain and a baby movement.
You might not know the difference between a muscle spasm and initial kick or first flutter and tendon shifting.
What else might it be?
You might need to see if you still feel pregnant.
Even you can see the baby bump.
When a woman is in the 3rd trimester, they tell her to measure the child's health by the activity level, though the baby does sleep around 12 to 14 hours a day.
You have to feel it first.
The baby tends to be more active when you're sleeping, like around midnight. You could try staying up to see if the baby is awake and moving.
So you think I might not be feeling it because the baby is asleep when I'm awake?
That could explain why you haven't felt it, though you could try startling the baby by blowing an air horn. Then the child will kick and wave and you should feel it.
And if I don't?
Then you may want to take a pregnancy test, because if it has gone negative, there is a problem.
I haven't miscarried. There would be blood.
If you see blood, you know there is a major problem. Before then, there may be a stop of growth and all the hormones.
That's why you said to use the pregnancy test.
But that is very rare in the 2nd trimester, so you're way more likely to be able to solve it with something that suddenly startles the baby into moving. Worst case scenario, get a sonogram.
We were planning one to determine if it was a boy or a girl.
To a baby, it sounds like a freight train. And getting a sonogram will usually trigger activity, as well as diagnose a lack thereof.